Hello, everybody. I'm Randy Matheson, Executive Director of Community Relations here in the Renton School District. And on behalf of Nikisha Holmes, the principal here at Campbell Hill, and the staff and educators here at this school, to those in attendance, and I'm sure the millions around the world tuned in to the West Hill Community Association Facebook page, welcome to Campbell Hill, to our first live meeting in quite a while. 3 years has it been? Is that right?
20.
Wow, wonderful to have you here. A couple of notes about Campbell Hill. So Campbell Hill Elementary School has about 370 students, preschool through 5th grade. This is the only elementary school in our district, in the Renton School District, that has a preschool program here in the school. All of our elementary schools have kindergarten through 5th grade, and we have hundreds of preschool students who attend our program, our preschool program at Meadowcrest Early Learning Center, which is in the Highlands area of our district. A couple of years ago, we established a preschool program here at Campbell Hill to accommodate families and children, specifically here on the West Hill. So we added that specifically for this community. Campbell Hill has been here on this site in some configuration for 113 years. The first school was built in 1910. It was a one-room schoolhouse. 4 years later, in 1914, it just blossomed. It just went nuts, right? It went to a two-room elementary school. And so we're growing. We're making things happen, right? So it's been here in some configuration for 113 years. The school we're in right now was completely rebuilt in 2003, thanks to overwhelming voter support in our school election bond measures. And I'll talk a little bit more about all the great work that we've been doing here at this school and our other elementary schools and Dimmitt Middle School and Renton High for West Hill families a little later in our community reports. But now I'll turn it over to your host from the West Hill Community Association, Finn Harmony.
Thank you, Randy. It's always great hearing those little tidbits of information about this community. So I'm Finn Harmony, and we are the West Hill Community Association. We're a small but mighty neighbor-led 501c3 nonprofit. And because of unique challenges facing unincorporated West Hill neighborhoods like Skyway, Lake Ridge, Bryn Mawr, Campbell Hill, we're here to advocate for, inform, connect, and create community-building activities and fun events for all our neighbors. So I just wanted to invite you all, Joel, will you go to the next slide? To get to know more about us at mywesthill.org/join. And then if you're here, it means you care about what happens in your community, and we would love to stay connected with you. So our social media accounts and email sign-up forms are also online at mywesthill.org/connect, and we post fun stories like our Skyway Park Takeover recap and local business profiles on mywesthill.org/news, and we have Winnie, who's featured in our most recent newsletter, who runs Winnie's Cafe down over in your avenue. So I also wanted to take a moment to invite you to our upcoming events. We have our Halloween takeover on Saturday, October 28th from 1 to 5 p.m. It starts across from the Skyway Library. We have our Election Day Voter Assistance Booth, Tuesday, November 7th, 4 to 8 p.m. at Skyway Library. We also are bringing back, today is kind of a day of bringing back, so we're back in person here for the quarterly, but we're also bringing back our community coffee hour, which we're hosting at Skyway Library. That will be on November 18th from 11:30 to 1, and will feature local food from Winnie's. And then we've got our Skyway Park restoration event that David's going to talk a little bit more about on December 2nd, 9 a.m. to noon. And we have a full list of events at our website, mywesthill.org/events. Please check that out for more. So now I'm going to turn it over to Greg. He's going to be inviting folks up to speak for the community report section. These are just short little updates from different community organizations or agencies. And we welcome questions after they're done presenting. And we take those questions both via online and in person. So we'll just go with the flow. We're trying to figure out how to do this again, kind of this hybrid model. So thank you all for being here. Please feel free to get up and get food. There are bathrooms right outside these doors. And we really appreciate that you came.
Here, I'll just move this over.
Yeah.
Gotta move this over so you guys can see. Screen. Oh, I'm taking everything apart. Sorry about that.
We just want to keep y'all entertained. If this was too smooth, it would be boring.
There we go.
That's good.
Hey, there we go.
Can everyone see the screen now?
Yeah.
Excellent. All right, so community reports. The first group up is going to be Skyway Water and Sewer. Cynthia, come on up.
I guess I have to stand at the podium.
Yes.
All right, for anyone that doesn't know me, I'm Cynthia Lamoth, and I'm the General Manager of Skyway Water and Sewer District. I've been with the district for about 10 years now, and I really like being in the community and serving all of you. I live down on 128, so I'm not far from home here. I'll just give you a few tidbits, and then please feel free to catch me afterwards. Ask me any questions that you'd like. What we have going right now is this community has a lot of old, aging infrastructure, and it's our job to replace it in a timely fashion and keep things running. So one of our big initiatives is taking advantage of the state's low-interest loan program. And I know I've reported on that at previous meetings, but most recently, we were able to get another $3.7 million in low-interest loan. That means 1%, 20-year payback. Because one of the things that we as a community struggle with is the cost of things for our customers and having to pay high prices to get things rebuilt. So the 3 commissioners that oversee the operations of the district live in the community, which they're required to do, but live in the community. They pay the same rates that you do, and that's the struggle that they have every year when we relook at our budget and our capital program. Another thing that we've gotten with support from King County was a $1 million grant to extend sewer mains. And Jackie was kind enough to ask me some questions, so the next time I come, I will have a map to show you exactly where that runs. If you'd like to see it tonight, Jackie's got a nice hand sketch there that I'm sure that she'd share with you. Very good. Also, we have a new customer web portal. You'll probably see a little note about it in each of our newsletters. We're coming into the next century. It gives you the ability to get text messages, email, phone calls, check all kinds of things about your account. All you need to do is provide an email address. If you get to our website and you're having any trouble with that, please call us and ask questions, and we've got people that can walk you through that process. And other than that, I'll take questions either now or afterwards. Devin, what's your preference?
Move back to our moderators here. Not seeing comments on Facebook.
And I'll be here for the rest of the evening, so feel free to catch me anytime.
Comments on Zoom?
I was curious about the 2 new constructions going on at the bottom of 128, 49 townhomes, and then the other 56 single-family homes. And I assume that's all going to be taken care of?
So,
I think civil engineering is being done in town.
So I'll bring some more information back at the next quarterly, but those are developer extension projects is the term that we use. And one of the policies that the district has is that growth pays for growth. So if the sewer lines or the water lines need to be extended, and for the areas that they serve in those developments, the developer needs to pay that cost. The district does not contribute to the extension of those systems, because that would come out of the rates that you're paying. Good question. Kathleen, right? Yep. Anybody else for right now? If not, feel free to catch me, and just as those kind of questions, we can come back with more information at the next quarter. All right, thank you.
All right, thank you, Cynthia. So next up is King County Fire District.
Good evening, everyone. Right on. My name is Eric Hicks, and I am your fire chief for the Skyway Fire Department. I'm going to make my portion really quick because I have a nice presentation here for you guys. I just want to remind everybody that we are a special purpose district. So that means when you vote on initiatives and stuff for the fire department, your money stays here in Skyway. We're not a part of a larger machine or anything like that. And we serve anywhere between 19,000 and 20,000 people based on how you search on the internet. Our district was formed in 1943. We started out as a volunteer department and have evolved. Today we have 20 career firefighters, which is a huge change because a lot of our volunteers have been hired over the years and have moved on to career departments. So our volunteer numbers are really low, historically low at this point. So moving on, we're going to have 20 career firefighters. We have 4 firefighters in the academy right now. They will graduate in January, and we will have them on the streets. And that's going to put our 8-car in service full-time, which was a goal of mine when I came to the fire district in 2017. Along with those goals was a little innovation and collaboration with other cities and fire districts, and now we have the CARES unit. And so I don't know if you've seen this unit rolling around through Skyway, but they are taking some of those calls or involved in those calls where we need the right service for the right call. And so they're going to talk a little bit about that and how that works and how it works with the fire department. Because again, our goal is to make sure that we have unit reliability and so that we are ready for those bigger calls, the more important calls, those calls where we have somebody that's, in cardiac arrest and they need CPR or a house fire. Okay, so the more we can not respond to those low acuity calls or get the right service for what the residents need, the more that we can stay in service for a lot of those more important calls. So I'm going to let them take it away and talk about the CARES unit rolling around here in Skyway.
Hello. My name is Jacqueline, and I am a nurse with Puget Sound Fire. This is Cassie, she's our social worker, and we're going to talk about the model that we currently have. I'm going to talk on the medical side, and she'll talk on the social work side, but we really work together to do this. Like Chief said, their job is to stay in service for these big calls, which leaves a huge area of non-emergent calls that really need a lot of resources. So what we do, how we get a hold of you guys, how you guys get us is we're dispatched through 911, either added by PD, added by fire, or referral base. We are an injury and illness prevention program. On the nursing side, for example, loved ones have catheters, feeding tubes, some of these temporary things that aren't long-term. When they have issues, a lot of times they have to go to the ER, which is very costly and stressful on them, which we can come out and we can change out the catheters for you. We can help replace the feeding tube. We do ostomy bags. We do wound care. In addition to that, we're big on prevention. So if loved ones are falling a lot, we go and assess them and link them to resources in the community for that type of prevention. We also work with Valley Medical Centers where patients are discharged from the hospital and just really needing some extra attention after. A lot of times, you guys all know, when you get to the hospital, they really get you out early, and not everybody's ready for that. So we really bridge the gap after the hospital. On the nursing side, if you need help with medication management, transportation, we really have a broad scope of what we can do. I'm going to turn it over to our social worker to talk a little bit about the social work side, and at the end, we also will leave brochures so you guys can read up a little bit about us with a number. If you guys have any questions or anything, don't hesitate to call us.
Yeah, so as my partner said, they address the medical side, and then as for social workers, we can address some other needs regarding more mental health, housing, we can assist with food. So for the social work part of it, we help connect you all to resources within your community, help you guys during those crisis feelings or during just very stressful times. We are here to help in connecting you all to resources, and that can include aging and transition in care, medical needs, mental health resources such as therapy. We can help connect to crisis support lines such as the mobile crisis unit, designated crisis response. We help with getting you guys basic needs. If you feel like there is something in your life that you're missing, we can try to help connect that support, as well as that was mainly it. Yeah, that's kind of what we do, and that's it.
Right now, we have 3 rigs that service Skyway, Renton, Covington, Maple Valley, Kent, and Tukwila. And we're just growing from here. We're hoping to get 2 more rigs in service. And so you'll be seeing a lot of us. So don't hesitate to call us if you need something and let us come help you.
Any questions?
There is one, I'll just say it on the microphone so people online can hear. I think more of a question for, well, we'll see. Maybe you can answer it, and maybe we'll also bring in Detective Mike. But online, Jill Pomeroy is asking about the drag racing happening on Martin Luther King. Especially noticed it on 60th Avenue South and MLK. Do you have any information? Or maybe that's for Detective
Is
Mike.
that drag racing?
Yes.
I don't have an answer for that. That'd definitely be our sheriff's department there. We'll see them after we crash. How's that?
So it wasn't you.
Any other questions for CARES unit or the fire department?
So how do you reach the CARES unit?
Yeah, great question. So a few ways. If you're in crisis and you call 911 and it's a non-emergent call, they will send us. And those examples will be if you have fallen and we know that there's going to be a reason why you're falling, so we will go not only to help pick you up, but we will go figure out what's happening. If it's going through your medications, getting a hold of your doctor, getting your house set up for fall prevention. So there's one way. Another way is just calling in a number. We have a number for you guys to call in. And then also, you guys, we're referred by, let's see, Valley Medical refers, of the calls that they go on, that we're not there, they refer. So we have quite a bit of, you guys have quite a bit of access to us through referral base and just calling 911.
Yeah.
You're welcome. Yeah.
Do you have a special unit or any kind of special care for the someone that needs mental health or stability immediately?
We do.
Yeah. So CARES is not a mobile crisis unit, so that is something to be aware of. So if there is an active crisis, highly suggest calling 911. But then they will add us sometimes, and so we can help connect you all to actual crisis mobile units, such as the mobile crisis unit up in Seattle. We have people that we can call to help assist with any high mental health concerns. But again, CARES is not a mobile crisis unit, so if you guys are actively in a crisis, we do suggest utilizing 911 because we cannot always come out immediately. But again,
And that will get us to come out immediately. So I guess another way of saying is, and if you're in a crisis and you call our number that's at our desk, we may not be there because we might be on a call. So if you're in a crisis or a loved one, call 911 because they're at us right away. We'll get dispatched, and through that, like Cassie said, we have access to, through the fire department operations, through crisis centers in Seattle. We also have a way to get next day appointments for mental health in Valley Cities. We have a lot of access for mental health. It's just getting the resources, getting us in front of you guys. Does that answer your question?
Yes, I've been hearing and reading about different areas getting special units and to take some of the weight off of other agencies by having special areas that deal with mental health.
Currently, we're working with a co-response with Kent PD, and our next contract will be with Renton. So we do go on a lot of the mental health calls with PD, and it is really great to be a part of that. And we really try to make it patient-centered and really give choices and patients care. So we're definitely very passionate about this in CARES. Any other questions? Well, thank you for your time.
All right, thank you, Lee County Fire District. So next up is the Sheriff's Office. Detective Norris.
Good evening, everybody. I am Michael Norris. I am the detective here at the storefront in Skyway. So I'm the only detective that works out there. The way it works is we usually have 2 deputies on patrol. I am here to help them if they have like a crazy emergency. Unfortunately, with the staffing, all it takes is one crazy call and everybody's in service, or out of service, I should say. So my job is crime prevention. Pretty much, if you guys are having issues, reach out to me. I try to solve whatever issues you guys have going on. We also go to a ton of the events. We've been to all the schools. We go to any community events. We're usually at all the meetings. I normally work with a civilian community service officer, Vicki. I'm sure you guys have met her. Vicki is all over the place. She's great. She'll be back next week. In the meantime, I'm leaving my cards for any of you guys who haven't met me. I already talked to a couple people about some of the issues. If y'all have anything specifically, get with me. I will try to resolve whatever you guys got going on. If I can't do it, I can find somebody smarter than me that can. So don't hesitate to reach out to me though if you guys have any questions or any issues. Is there anything that anyone has going on right now that they want to bring to the sheriff's office attention?
Just the drag racing comment that came in on voting.
The drag racing. So I just spoke with someone about that a couple days ago. It was about the one on MLK, right?
Yes.
So with our policies, we are not allowed to chase drag racers unless there's a violent crime that has been committed. Them racing in itself, we won't be able to chase them. We can come out. What always happens, we'll come out, we'll put our lights on, they take off and go crazy. So at a minimum, it's good to get us out there so we can at least deter the racing that's going on. The problem that we've been having is people, well, they've told me they don't call because they don't know what can actually be done. My thing is call us, we'll go out and at least let them know that they can't be doing it in Skyway, right? So if it gets them out of Skyway, I don't care where else they do it, but not here, right? Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. What about all of those, the campers and things that are behind the church, up behind the market there? What's that about?
So we have an upcoming meeting to speak with the owners of that property. We've already spoken with them previously. So essentially, when it was a couple of campers there, we contacted the company, let them know what's going on, because we have a lot of citizens that have called or emailed and shared their concerns. So we went out, we offered resources, made contact with all of them. None of them really wanted to accept the resources. We had the Salvation Army come out, they offer resources, same thing. So hopefully in this upcoming meeting, we can come up with some kind of plan, but on our end, we can't do anything because it's private property. So they have to go through the evictions process, the landowners, to get them removed off the property now. So hopefully we can get the ball rolling. Yes, sir.
With recent busts of organized burglaries and such, has there been a downward trend of burglaries and theft in Skyway West Hill?
So we have the majority of the ones that you've been seeing on the news where certain people are being targeted and things like that, the majority have been in Seattle. I know Seattle PD did make some arrests, but I can't speak too much on what they have going on. For us, the numbers have not increased dramatically. We did have one around that same time frame, but that's an open case, so I can't discuss too much with that one. But we haven't had a lot going on as far as that. The main crimes we've been having, car thefts and people breaking into cars. We have a ton of the wheel locks. If anyone has any, the Kias and the Hyundais have been getting stolen left and right. We have a ton of wheel locks at the storefront, free of charge. Just come by and let us know you guys need some. But the burglaries, there has not been a dramatic increase in those in Skyway. Anybody else got any questions for me? Good? All right, I'll leave some cards in case I didn't get to meet some of you guys, and if y'all have any questions or anything, feel free to reach out, all right?
Thank you so much, Detective Norris. All right, so next is King County Parks. David Lee.
Right. Hi, everybody. My name is David Lee. I'm with King County Parks. I actually supervise the mobile engagement team, which is a brand new program that started about a year and a half ago. And the program is really about bringing parks presence back into the parks. And so we've been operating in Skyway over this last summer, partnering with West Hill Community Association, the Skyway Coalition, as well as the Seattle Kraken. And we just want to keep bringing more and more fun activities into the park space and helping to improve the park space as much as possible. So creating a sense of welcoming is a big part of us, as well as handing out lots of free stuff. So if you see a big blue canopy out there with a big green truck, please feel free to swing by. We'll give you a bunch of free stuff and talk to you, okay? So I just have a few really brief updates regarding parks, specifically at Skyway. So I'm speaking on behalf of some of our other great programs, particularly the volunteer program and our White Center Team program. So the volunteer program, if you're not familiar with it, we do have a volunteer program. Everybody's welcome, all ages are welcome to participate. It's an opportunity to get out into the parks and participate in restoration projects. It's an opportunity, largely restoration projects, but it's also an opportunity to connect with community as well as to learn about environmental concerns regarding conservation in the parks. This particular event that we're going to be hosting is a volunteer event scheduled for Skyway Park. It's a planting, so if you like trees, if you like to plant, we're going to be doing plantings along the creek at Skyway Park. Volunteers of all ages are welcome. So if you're interested, I think we do have the information here. So if you want to take a picture or get the link, you can chat with me after the meeting, and I'd be happy to give you more information on that. But you can go ahead and sign up and get more information there if you follow that link. The White Center Team program, who is operating here in Skyway as well, in partnership with Communities of Opportunity, the Workforce Development Council, and the YWCA are hosting a job launch event featuring career paths to working in the sports industry. The date is November 2nd, and this is completely free and available online as well, with 2 viewing parties, one of which will be at the Steve Cox Memorial Park Cabin and White Center, and the other will be here at Skyway, the Skyway Library. So if you want to know more about that, please go ahead and get onto the White Center Team Program website and go ahead and sign up for that. So anyway, I'm here to answer whatever questions I can, but I can't really speak on the projects that DLS is kind of spearheading, and they're going to be talking more about that on their segment. But I'm happy to answer any other general questions in regards to parks if you all have any. No? Okay. It's a pleasure to meet you all. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, David. Next is Renton School District, Randy Matheson.
Hello again, Randy Matheson, Executive Director of Community Relations of the Renton School District. I'll talk a little bit about the educational programs that we have going on in our schools here on the West Hill, and then some construction work that we've been doing to improve the schools and things that we have put in place to support the community. So we have 3 elementary schools here on the West Hill, Bryn Mawr, Campbell Hill, and Lake Ridge Elementary. Those students moved to Dimmitt Middle School, which is here on the West Hill, and then all of those students moved to Renton High School, which is down the hill in Renton. Our 3 elementary schools that we have on the West Hill here, along with 3 other elementary schools in the district. We actually have 16 elementary schools, but 3 here on the West Hill and 3 other schools in our district are in a program called the Renton Innovation Zone. And that program allows teachers and educators in the building to work with their principal and have a little freedom in how they go about providing education to children. It's a little different program than we have in our other elementary schools, and we put this in place because we wanted students here. We started this program here on the West Hill and expanded to the other elementary schools But what we wanted was to give opportunity to students and families in the community here on the West Hill to a little bit greater extent than we do in our other elementary schools. Simply because you didn't have the infrastructure here. We don't have the infrastructure here on the West Hill that we do throughout the rest of our school districts in Renton. And our school district actually touches 7 different municipalities. So the Renton School District isn't specific to the Renton footprint, the city of Renton. We're in Renton, Bellevue, Newcastle, Kent, Skyway, Seattle, unincorporated King County. So we actually have schools in all of those areas. But we wanted to concentrate here on the West Hill to provide educators with a little bit more opportunity to do different things in school for the elementary students. And what they did was they came together and they said, okay, if we could do these things, they got together as a team, as teams in schools along with their principal and said, if we could do these different things in these different ways, we think we can reach our children in a better way. And some of those ways include having teachers in real time during the school day moving from their classroom into other classrooms to watch veteran teachers teach so they can learn in real time. Usually that kind of activity happens during teacher education days when the school's out and teachers have these days to actually learn from other teachers. They have times when they sit down in the school day and they discuss what they get real-time feedback. This is what I was doing in my class. What do you see that I'm doing? What can I be doing better? How can I reach students? Because you think about a classroom, you have a lot of different capacities as far as students are concerned in that classroom. So a teacher has to be able to reach students where they're at in their learning environment, right? So these kind of processes, we also put money into the schools in a little different way than we do with our other schools in our Renton Innovation Zone program. We're seeing great results. What our teachers are learning is that they can expect great things from our children. They give them the guidance to reach those goals, and they see success. So that's the approach that we have with these schools on the West Hill in our Renton Innovation Zone. Dimmitt Middle School continues to grow. We've got new leadership at that school this year, principal and assistant principal. We're also putting into place a new program that's tied into the International Baccalaureate program. So I'm going to jump ahead to Renton High and I'll come back to Dimmitt because Renton High School has a program called the International Baccalaureate program. It is a college-level program that is only in a handful of schools here throughout the Puget Sound region. And Renton High School has that program. Our teachers in that program have to get special training to teach college-level classes to students at that school. Students take those classes, they get their high school credits, but they also get college credits that they can transfer into schools not only here in the U.S., but worldwide. That's why it's an international program. So there's high-level learning going on at Renton High that's not happening at any other high school in this region, or actually very few. Our other high schools do have advanced placement and college in the classroom programs, but this IB program, International Baccalaureate, is a little different. And our teachers, again, have to have special training to present that class. Let's go back to Dimmitt. We are implementing a program at Dimmitt Middle School that ties those students in to the Renton High IB program. So it's a middle school level kind of program. So really what's happening at the middle school now is they're learning at a higher level that's equivalent to freshman and sophomore in high school. Again, the concept is we expect more from our students, we give them the guidance they need to reach their goals, we see success. So that's what we're doing as far as education in our schools here on the West Hill and leading in the Renton High. I'll move into a little bit of construction work that we've been doing. As you may know, school districts in Washington State do not receive any funding for school construction measures. No money for new schools, no money for from the state or federal government for adding a wing if your population starts to grow. No money for putting a new roof on a school. A roof at this school would cost $1 million to replace. Boilers, heating and ventilation systems, playgrounds, any of that work that we have to do. The only way we get those fundings is we put together a package, we present that package to voters, and we tell voters what we plan to do, how much it's going to cost, when we plan to do it, and what it's going to cost you and me as taxpayers to get that work done. And we present that to voters, and voters have to approve those measures by 60% supermajority. So politicians and other things that are on the ballot, you get 50% plus one, you win, you move on, you take the office, right? In school district elections, as far as the bond measures go for school construction, you have to get a supermajority. This community and the communities throughout Renton has supported the Renton School District bond measures, those election measures on the ballot, by supermajorities for decades. And we've been able to get a lot of really good work done. This work not only improves our schools for learning, but it also helps improve property values for our community. If your school's in good condition, your property values continue to grow. If you let that school go into disrepair, or if you don't get the votes to make those improvements and the school goes into disrepair, property values start to drop. So it's a give and take. So we've been doing some really good work here at this school. I mentioned this school was rebuilt completely in 2003, but since 2003 we've been doing a lot of work. You see it here tonight. It's in really great condition. Our custodians and our maintenance folks do really good work maintaining our buildings. But every once in a while you got to put a new roof on a building. You got to fix the boiler. You got to bring in a new playground and so on. So we've been doing that at our schools. One of the things that we focused on over the last couple of summers is putting in safety and security vestibules. What that is at the front door of every one of the schools here on the West Hill, to include Dimmitt Middle School. Anybody who comes to the school now enters the school and is in this sort of encasement and has to go through another door to get into the office. So you can't just walk into school and go right into the hallways or the gym or the classrooms. You have to go through these safety vestibules, which means you have to enter into the office, and they have to sign you in, know why you're there. They have great eyesight, folks who are entering the building now. So these safety vestibules are very important, and we put in the last one this year here at Campbell Hill and Dimmitt. We also have them at our other schools, Bryn Mawr and Lake Ridge here on the West Hill. Another thing that's happening at this school, which ties into the community, is we're redoing our playfield out here. You can't see it in the dark, but there's a lot of work going on out here to replace our playfield. We also got a grant from King County to put in a padded walking area around that playfield. So now, on holidays or when school's not in session or in the evenings, when you get into summer, and I know you're going to be able to do it in the winter, when you get into summer months, the community has access to a really safe walking area around the playfield now, thanks to the grant and the work that we're doing, thanks to our voters. So when we do work at schools, we start trying to figure out how we can improve the community with the work that we're doing too. Here at Campbell Hill, putting that walking path in was very important to provide that. We've been doing a lot of work at Dimmitt Middle School as well, safety vestibule. I think the biggest one that's coming up right now is Renton High School. So in 2022 rather, we asked voters to approve a school bond measure that included rebuilding Renton High School. We first wanted to build that somewhere in the district down probably on the Oakesdale area where there's some property. Our idea was to build a new school there. It would still be within the Renton High School service area, so we wouldn't build a school in the Hazen service area for Renton. We went out to purchase those properties, outbid on some of them. Some of them got bought out from underneath us. So we've moved our attention now to move back to the Renton High School site and try to expand our footprint on the Renton High School site. So our thought is, what we're going to do is leave the front of Renton High School's historic front in place, intact, and the IKEA Performing Arts Center, which is a fairly new performing arts center, a beautiful place for the community and students to perform. Leave those intact and build on the site and buy property in that area to actually expand the footprint. So that's our plan now, to start working at how we can actually expand from where we're at. We're really restricted on that site. As most of you know, the field to the west of the school is in direct path of the Renton Airport. So we can't build on that. We can't put lights up to light that field to make it a proper play field for our students, because lights go up really high to flood a site like that, and that would be right in the flight path. We can't build a building up high because it's in the flight path. We also believe underneath there's going to be some Native American artifacts because of the history of Renton, and so that would preclude us from doing a lot of work there too. But there is a lot of site that we can work on that we have and that we can expand, we're hoping, as we start working with the community and homeowners and business owners in that area. And that plan will roll out here in the next few weeks. We've been actually working on that idea since May, and now we're going to start putting something into place in the next couple of months to start working with homeowners and business owners to build a proper new Renton High School. A lot of information. Hope I didn't cover it too fast. If you have anything for me, I think we have to move on. I'm here afterwards. Please ask me any questions that you have. Thanks for your time.
All right, thank you so much, Randy. I'm going to move up to Skyway VFW Post. Marjorie?
Well, hello and welcome. This is so exciting. I get excited easily, for some of you who don't know. Few things I want to talk about right away. This weekend, and I did put a flyer up there. Let's see, where did I put it here? We are having, this is our second bazaar. We did a small one last year. It was very successful. But this weekend, we are having an October bazaar in our downstairs hall from 10 to 4. It's free. Saturday and Sunday. Sunday we're going to have breakfast. And then after breakfast there's a football game, so you can stay. We have fun at the football games. There's raffles, there's prizes, all kinds of things. So I did leave this up at the table. Take a picture, come down and join us. If you have mobility issues, let someone upstairs know. There is a back door, a downstairs back door. There's no parking down around the back. I wish I could remember that street name. I want to say 126th, but, oh, is it? Thank you. People are nodding their heads. There's a little back door with a little ramp to come, and you can get in that way because there are significant stairs to go down there. And then we've already talked about the kids' Halloween party. We are taking part, this is the first, with the West Hill Community Association. We've had our own Halloween parties. We are going to be having a trunk or treat. From 1 to, the trunk or treat's going to be 1 to 3. But the inside of the post, we are going to be having free snacks, games, crafts, cookie decorating. I will be heading up that. Please come. We have a costume contest and the famous monster cake walk. Tons of cakes that we make and give away. And if you are so inclined, please, we are accepting donations of cakes and cookies, either made that you've done or pre-made that you've purchased. So that's all going to be in part. I know Finn and Devin in the West Hill, they've got a map going on. It's going to be exciting. Bring your kids, bring the grandkids. It's going to be great. So those are some of the bigger things. Now, I don't know how many people know a lot about the VFW, but VFW stands for, well, I didn't introduce myself, well, I guess I was introduced. VFW stands for Veterans of Foreign Wars. That's different from the American Legion and some of the other Veterans Association. Veterans of Foreign Wars means exactly that. A member of the post has to have had what we call boots on the ground in a combat zone. And so that's to be a member of the post. I do have applications for the post side. The commander couldn't make it tonight. He's at another function. Our commander is Chad Hasselbrock. He's been in the area for quite a while. Give me a second. On my little face here. So there's all kinds of things that the VFW does. We support veterans, service members, and their families. We also support this community. Now, we also have the auxiliary. Used to be called, who remembers the ladies' auxiliary? Used to be called the ladies' auxiliary. Thank you. We are now just the auxiliary because we have several men and family members, because not all, since we are in active wars, but we've opened it up so that if the wife or husband, your father, husband, brother, son, grandfather, grandson, granddaughter, grandmother, daughter, sister, mother, wife, or husband is an eligible post member, you can become a member of the auxiliary. And we work hand in hand. I have to brag a little bit about our post, because we are one of the very few posts. There's 64 posts. No, there's more than 64 posts, but there are 64 posts with auxiliaries, and we work like a team. If you've ever come to any one of our events, you'll see all of us there helping out and doing things. So I also have applications if you are married to or related to an eligible veteran. All right, moving on here. So we are also having this weekend it's going to be busy. After we have our bazaar, we're going to have the adult costume party. No, I don't dress up. I wear a little mask and a tiara, but that's of course all I need to have. We are going to be having our Halloween potluck and costume party. There's going to be a DJ there, not a DJ, she's actually a singer, does pretty good, her name is Cece, this Saturday, and that will start at 5 o'clock. Mentioned the trunk or treat, and my little notes here that I made. Toys. I don't know if any of you here know that this is our 25th annual Toys for Kids Drive has started. We've already been collecting toys. We've been collecting funds and monies. The final collection will be on December 9th from 10 to 1:30. That's usually a really big event. There's a motorcycle group club called the Apple Dumpling Gang, and they donate a huge truck full of toys. But we definitely need more. If you did not know, in years past, we work with, and Randy could probably also speak to this, with our family liaisons that work within the schools here up on the hill, our 3 elementary schools. Last year and years, not since COVID, but we have individual Christmas parties for the families and students that have been identified from Campbell Hill, Lake Ridge, and Bryn Mawr. We have a Santa Claus. Everyone who comes to the party gets a gift that night, as well as the parents get to take home gifts that they had asked for and requested for Christmas morning at their homes. So, we need help in gathering that. If you're not into the shopping and wanting to drop a gift off, we can take donations. We also donate to have Christmas parties. We sponsor 5 units from JBLM. That stands for Joint Base Lewis McChord. Used to be just McChord and Fort Lewis, but they combined them now. But we have 5 Army units that we support there. And those children also get a party there at the post, and their families also get gifts. And we're not just talking like little gifts. Last year, I'm gonna say, I was stunned. We usually give away about 60 to 80 bicycles. I mean, like real, look at that, real bicycles. And some of those little scooter things for toddlers. I don't know what they're called, but I've seen them. They didn't have that when I was little. I also was asked to mention that we charter the only special needs scout troop in the state. If you know of someone who has special needs, they meet on the first and third Tuesday at 7 p.m. There is no age limit for this special needs scout groups. The average age, I would say, at that scout group ranged from about 18, 19 to almost 30 years old. They do activities just like any other scout troop would. They go on camping outings. So if you know someone who would benefit from that, please invite them to come down. A lot of this information you can also find on the Skyway website. So I know I had mentioned about dropping off toys. You can do that anytime the post is open. The post is open on Tuesday evenings, and mostly for there's a retired firemen volunteer group that go down there, and that's when they have their time. But they're open Tuesday evenings. Thursdays, hamburgers. $6, you get a huge quarter-pound hamburger with all the fixings, homemade potato salad. Last week we had tater tots, that was nice. And a little dessert. Fridays, we have a game night. We started doing game nights, and we have a $5 snacky kind of dinner thing. This week, I'm not making the pizza. I'm buying the pizza, and we're going to cut it. So we'll be having pizza, and we're going to be playing a game called Farkle. If you are not a member, pop in, introduce yourself. You know, say someone, I heard about you at the community meeting. You know, we can sign you in as a guest. You know, it's not that just, for the Halloween party, everybody can come in. But on some other things, we need to sign you in as a guest. Talked about Saturday, we have breakfast on the first Sundays of every month. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Halloween? Oh, I did mention Halloween. Well, and then the kids' Halloween, the adult Halloween party is this Saturday. The kids' Halloween party is the following Saturday. So, like I said, I have some other information. You can find all of our information on, it says Skyway VFW post. That's what we look like. That's the front door. You know, come on in. Like I said, donations for the toys, you know, we're really needing those. This year we did have a backpack giveaway. I think that's about it. We'd love to see more people come up for our game nights and our dinners. And that's about it. So, does anybody have any questions for me? Well, thank you. Oh, yes.
As far as donations for the 28th, do you want them the day before?
To donate for the toys?
No, for the cakes, for the cakewalk.
Oh, yes, please. Bring them up on Thursday or Friday next week for the cakewalk. Drop off cakes and things Thursday and Friday next week for the cakewalk. We're open from 4 o'clock on both days in the afternoons. So, yeah, drop those off, and you know, it doesn't have to be anything really fancy. Make a cake, lots of frosting, lots of gooey stuff on top, candies, and that makes it great. The kids love it. As well as decorating the cookies. Oh yeah, we sugar them up good for you on that day. So thank you. I'm so glad that we are all back here together, and I'll be around if anybody had any other further questions. Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Margie. That was a lot of information, huh? So don't forget to reach out to Margie about those events. Next up is Miss Alicia with Women's United. Hold it.
Hi, everybody. See, I'm still down. Hi, everybody. My name is Alicia Kennedy, and I support grandmothers raising grandchildren here in the Skyway area. and we provide programs and events. And I'm coming to talk to you about an event that is coming up, and the first one is going to be on November the 11th. Women United has partnered with Bryn Mawr United Methodist Church for a bazaar. So we've come together. Mine is called Women United All Hands Arts and Craft, and Bryn Mawr Methodist is the fall holiday harvest. We'll be doing that on Saturday, November the 11th, from 9 a.m. to 3. And there's lots of different things that you can get. I'll have the flyer over there, but they're all handcrafted stuff. We've got jewelry, knitted items, just all kinds of stuff. So we want you guys to come out. They're going to serve lunch. We'll have a little music going on to get you in that little spirit. And it's just going to be great. And so I'm going to leave this flyer on the table over there, and you can kind of like take a picture and take down the address and come on out and join us. Starts at 9 and we'll go till 3. The second event is Maverick Cares Harvest Charity Event. That's going to be on November the 21st from 3 to 7. And there's a QR code on here. Just scan the code and go and sign up, and you'll be able to pick up a harvest bag in whatever one of the locations. So they've got like about 13 locations, but the ones that we have are, so if there are people that are up north, they can go to Everett, Shoreline, Mount Lake Terrace, Silverdale, Tukwila, SeaTac, Renton, which is Roman Casino, and that's where I will be at. And we will also be distributing turkeys, free turkeys. So I will provide a link on West Hill where if anybody is needing a turkey for Thanksgiving, they can sign up and we can make sure they get it. And the other part is when you come to the harvest event, when you come through and you're signed up, you just mark your name off the list, and then you can pick up your ticket and get your harvest bag and go on around. Okay, so it's going to be like in and out, but it's going to be really nice. We've got the turkeys that are coming from up north, and it's a black farmer that's going to be providing all that. And we're being supported by University District Rotary that's providing all the turkeys for us, or paying for it. And I guess that's pretty much it for me. And just if you want to write it down, you can reach me at aliciac@womenunitedseattle.org. And if you're interested in a turkey, I'll send you a link. All right? Anybody got any questions?
Can you spell Alicia C?
ALESIAC@womenunitedseattle.org. And if you're interested in a turkey, I'll send you the link so you can sign up. Okay? Yes, ma'am.
Is that going to be different from scanning the link?
You can, if the person doesn't have the ability to scan the QR code,
Right.
they can just hit me. Hit me up, and then I can send them the link to sign up.
Okay, thank you.
Okay? Thank you. That's it. So these will be up there if you need to take a picture of them, but we would love for you guys all to come out and support the bazaar. It's bringing unity to our community, and that's what we're about here. Thank you.
We're going to put them on the table over there so you guys can scan. All right, next up is Finn. She's going to talk about Sierra Sisters and Elijah Warner.
Okay, so I'm just presenting on behalf of 2 organizations here. Ms. Bridget Hempstead of Sierra Sisters. So if you go to the next slide, Joel, they're celebrating World Mammography Day at the Rainier Beach Community Center, Saturday, October 21st from 7:30 to 4 p.m. And there's an event also inside the community center from 12 to 2 p.m. Those flyers are also on our table. And we can go to the next one, just Olajuwon's Hands. There is a youth coat giveaway through the King County Sheriff's Office storefront in Skyway. That is coordinated through the schools. But there's also Olajuwon's Table Thanksgiving Dinner, which there's a flyer on the next slide. 11 a.m. on November 23rd, and that is at Albert Talley High School. And so I will turn it over to Greg. And I know that in person, things are taking a little longer than normal, so we won't be offended if you leave early. more food, or pack some food to take home with you. Just please know yeah, so get up and move around as you need to. You don't have to stay seated the whole time.
Everyone's excited to be here, that's why. Right? All right, so next up is Inspire Washington with Andy Jensen.
Great, thanks, Greg. Hi there, I'll go fast. I'll say next slide, next slide, next slide, next slide. So Andy Jensen, I'm with Inspire Washington, with the state's cultural advocacy organization for science, heritage, and the arts. Next slide. That's us. So hey, we're working right now on something called Doors Open King County. This is a new fund that the King County Council is deliberating on right now. Probably not right now, they're hoping they're getting some rest. But they are talking about this, and they're going to take a vote in the council in December. There we go. So I'm not going to read that whole thing, but there's a piece of paper over there, and there's me, and I can answer more of the stuff. By law, this has to be a 0.1% increase in sales tax. It's going to raise about $90 million to help support science, heritage, and the arts organizations around King County, specifically to help with more public access out in the community and in schools. Next slide. And why it matters. We've all had an experience with the arts, science, and heritage. We've had that one teacher. For me, actually, I was a theater guy, but when my math teacher taught me 9 times 8 is also 8 times 9, it really did help me figure out, oh, we can say the same things, but get to it the different way. What? Wow. So math's cool. But we all have our own why it matters. Next slide. I've got lists and lists and lists of policy papers and studies from people way smarter than I am about how the cultural sector builds community engagement with placemaking and instills civic pride. Educational achievement. My favorite one that I just read, the Houston School District just did a controlled study. So half the students had this program, half did not. The students that had the cultural program, science, heritage, and the arts, were called backbone organizations. So existing nonprofit cultural organizations came into the schools, worked with the teachers, worked with the students, worked with the families. Students who had that program, yes, of course, you know they got better grades, they had better attendance, but most importantly, their social emotional skills skyrocketed, and their post-secondary goals and aspirations went through the roof, especially for English language learning students and special ed students. And also economic activity and investment. For cultural events, wherever they are, every dollar spent leads to $3 more spent in the community. Next slide. So when by access and in the law, access includes increased access for public school students. That's not only field trips to an organization, but also for outreach programs that that organization has to come into the schools. We have 19 school districts in King County. We have a whole bunch of different schools, a whole bunch of different principals, and a whole bunch of different learning styles. These different leaders can pick and choose what kind of programs they want. Part of that Houston study was really, the strength of it was having the organizations, having these programs available, and then the principals and the parents and the students choosing which one's going to work for them. This is such a good idea. I want to let you know that the Washington State PTA, the Seattle Council of PTA, and the one you care about, the Renton Council of PTAs, they've all endorsed cultural access programs for the entire state. That's how good of an idea this is. How are the funds going to be distributed? Before we go to the next slide, don't do it, don't do it. Before this was done, the King County Council, including Councilmember Jeremiah Zahalai, District 2, came up with an idea that these programs are so important for unincorporated counties and places outside Seattle that of the pie chart I'm about to show you, 22% of that is set aside exclusively for non-Seattle and unincorporated areas of King County, in addition to the additional 78% that I'm about to show you. Next slide. For Culture is going to distribute all of this money. For Culture is led by Brian Carter, a Black and Hispanic man who grew up in Yakima. He is one of the original employees of the Northwest African American Museum. He's been the executive director of For Culture since 2018. In his leadership, more funds have gone outside of Seattle and throughout the rest of King County to help establish and support cultural organizations than ever before in the history of For Culture. The big blue part, that's sustained support, programmatic support, doing stuff you're already doing. From 1.75 over to 10, that is a whole bunch of new programming that I'm happy to answer more questions about. And then the two 15%, public free admission and public school cultural access. As you can see, each is about $14 million so far. That's going to be new programming for basically for free. Imagine cultural centers and theaters like libraries. You're able to attend for free. Cost shouldn't be a barrier to cultural access. Next slide. All right, so like I was saying, the King County Council is deliberating this now. The final vote's going to be in December. If you'd like to have more information about how you can be involved in this, I'll be here. You can also check out that website, Doors Open King County. That has a whole bunch of new information that I just went over and some more nitty gritty. If you want to get wonky, I'm here to get wonky. I've got answers for you. And that's my phone number up there and the piece of paper's over there. Greg and Finn, thanks so much.
Thank you so much, Andy. All right, so next is senior citizen priority exemption. Lowell.
Oh, Lowell.
Thank you. So it's actually about senior citizen property tax exemptions, okay? So good evening, West Hill neighbors. It's really good to see all of you again. So some of you might remember back before the pandemic when we were meeting at the Skyway VFW, I presented some information on senior citizen property tax exemptions. Since second half property taxes are due at the end of this month, and there are 2 improvements to the program, I thought it might be worth revisiting the issue. So, if you own and occupy a residence or a mobile home, or if you are paying on a mortgage, that is considered owning. So that's the first improvement. I mistakenly told you last time that you had to own the property outright to qualify. If you have an annual income of $58,423 per year or less, and you or your spouse are 61 years of age or older, on or before December 31st of 2022, or are retired because of a disability, you may qualify for property tax relief. The second improvement to the program, and this is huge, that if you qualify for a property tax exemption, and you could have qualified during the past 4 years before you applied, you can receive a refund from the tax assessor for those years as well. My sister, who lives in Kent, recently received a $7,000 refund check from the assessor. Wouldn't it be nice to receive a check from the assessor instead of sending them one? And your future property tax bill could become hundreds of dollars per year instead of thousands of dollars per year. So go to taxrelief.kingcounty.gov or call 206-296-3920 if you have questions or to apply. Finn, do we have time for any questions for me?
It's all right.
Yeah, that's fine.
Just quickly, that is based on household income, correct?
Household income.
All people who live in household are.
Correct. Right. Any others? So I also have information on the senior citizen discounts available to Seattle City Light customers and Skyway Water and Sewer customers as well. So come see me after the meeting adjourns if you need contact information or have more questions. And I'm sure the topic of affordable housing will come up during tonight's meeting sometime. I believe affordable housing starts with making your current housing more affordable. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Lowell.
Sure.
Is there any other community reports? There's Friends of Skyway. Oh, yes.
There was supposed to be something for Skyway Library?
Skyway Library, yes, come on up. Let me sure if you're here.
My name's Catherine Sidwell, and I'm a member of the Friends Group. We have a lot of new members, and they're running it so well. We actually have younger people coming in and being able to have different ways of paying for things, like electronic, and they understand about websites and social media and all this. It's wonderful. I just wanted to let people know that we did have, I wanted to say thank you, actually, first of all, to the community for all the donations. Because any time of the year, if you're trying to get rid of some books, you can take them up to Skyway Library. They will get them to the Friends groups. We will be able to go and we sort through them, and then we deliver, or they have them delivered to Preston, and then they come back, and we have the book sale. So all the book sale is donated books. It's not library books, and so we do depend on those. We just finished up our annual book sale. I hope people were able to come. Booksellers always come right away and buy a whole bunch of them. And I think it's, I don't have the exact figure, but I know that it's over $700 that we made, and that's when books are like 50 cents or 25 cents, or kids' books are 10 cents. So all of those books, we had about 45 boxes that we put out, and we had a lot of people come and enjoy themselves, especially the kids. So just make sure you keep in mind, if you want to get rid of some books, take them to Skyway Library. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Ben is going to come up and present the main event, which is the community needs list.
Okay, so the community needs list is something that King County Department of Local Services helped to put together and broadcast out to communities. So they're we're going to tag team on this presentation. And I'll just have them introduce themselves quickly first. And then we will dive in to how we can work a little bit on our community needs list for Skyway.
Right on. There are a bunch of us here. John Taylor, I'm the Director of the Department of Local Services.
Danielle Miller, I'm the Deputy Director for the Department of Local Services.
Hiding in the back.
David Dodds, or Wishes.
Takes 5 of us to get anything done.
We feel really special that you're here, seriously. Westfield Community Association worked with King County Department of Local Service to help get the word out about this community needs list survey over the summer. So it was open in August and for a couple days in September. And in Skyway, we had nearly 150 folks respond to the survey. And also because of that, and the grant we received, we were able to give out gift cards to folks for people having responded to this really lengthy survey. Because it took some work. So it was also a way that we could support local businesses, which was great. And so what the survey generated were tons of ideas, what people want to see happen in Skyway, and how King County could help to make these ideas a reality. And so essentially these ideas, the grand idea was that these ideas would then be prioritized, and then those top priorities would go on to different King County departments or divisions to factor into their budgets. And so this is a really lofty goal. This is hard, and it takes a lot of time. But what we're going to do today is just workshop one of those departments. And so a lot of ideas were generated related to the Department of Natural Resources and Parks. And so this is what we'd like your help with, because community, those 150 people who took the survey, these were ideas that were generated related to Department of Natural Resources and Parks. So these are, I think it's 13 ideas. Some of them are kind of, if they were very similar ideas, we placed them together. But what we'd like help with is how do we rank order this to then give to King County to say, hey, look, these are really the top priorities for our community and things that we would like to make sure are focused on when departments or divisions go to make their budgets. John or Danielle, do you want to add anything?
Yeah, really quickly, because I think Finn did a great job. And I'll use the microphone so you can hear me and people at home can hear me. So yeah, again, John Taylor, Director of the Department of Local Services. This is a really unique opportunity to give community the ability to influence the county's budget. We've never done that before. And I think that in cities, there's more ability for people to do it, but in unincorporated King County, it's been historically really hard for communities to be heard and to have their needs reflected in the county budget. So that's what we're trying to do here. This is just one piece of the county's budget. So we're sort of trying this out with you all to see how this goes. And if it works really well, or even if it doesn't work that well, we'll probably adopt it as a way to tackle this, getting input on how to prioritize things. Because this will give us the ability to tell the Department of Natural Resources and Parks, this is what Skyway wants to see reflected in the next county budget.
Okay, so I'm just going to read through these, and there is space to provide a new idea, because maybe something comes up, you think of it now that you're like, oh, I really think this should be added to the list. What Devin and Greg are passing around are this information, all of these ideas with little boxes next to them, and your task is to rank 5 of those ideas, 1 to 5. You also don't have to live in Skyway to do this. As long as you have kind of the way that the CNL was advertised, is you can provide input on the area if you live there, work there, have activities in the area. So if you're here, I consider that you care about Skyway and have activities in Skyway. And so I'm going to read through them, and if you want to ask questions about them, you can. I'm not the most informed, maybe other folks can respond. So one idea is a community center in Skyway. A second is Skyway Park improvement. So there are lots of ideas for these improvements, like a skate park, dog poop bags, more lighting, native plants, trees for shade, increased shelters. So those are kind of bucketed as one thing, more Skyway Park improvements. Regularly opened and maintained bathrooms at Skyway Park. Install educational signposts informing community about the headwaters in Taylor Creek is another idea. Increased trails connecting Chief South to Skyway Park, or a trail that runs through Skyway, or a walking and biking path that goes all the way around the park. And I meant to say, actually let me finish this list and then I'll go back. Access to Bryn Mawr Park. I actually don't even know where that is, but maybe some others do. A new park at 58th and Beacon with dog walk, recreation, swings, wading pool, etc. Trash bins in the Skyway Business District. You might be thinking, what is trash bins doing on this list? But that's because Department of Natural Resources and Parks has a division called Solid Waste. So they deal with those things. Farmers markets with fresh fruit, vegetables that support local businesses. Sorry, I skipped one. Stormwater management, and a tree maintenance law to preserve ancient trees. So those are ideas that folks came up with, and we'd love your feedback or questions. You can chat with your neighbor. Do you want to maybe share what the subdivisions are within the Department of Natural Resources?
I'd be happy to. So the Department of Natural Resources and Parks is gigantic, several thousand employees. It has 4 divisions. Parks, water and land, so parks is self-evident, right? Parks. They run all the parks, the regional parks and the local parks throughout unincorporated King County. Water and land resources, which is not self-evident, but they sort of oversee a bunch of different things. Salmon recovery, agricultural programs, hazardous waste program for King County, agriculture and forestry, and a lot of open space. They manage a lot of open land. Wastewater, so if you flush a toilet, King County manages that. And I think we all appreciate it when we flush a toilet and it goes away. It takes a lot of infrastructure to make that happen. We run several gigantic regional wastewater treatment plants, hundreds and thousands of miles of pipe, to get it from your house to that treatment plant. We work with local sewer and water districts like Cynthia, who oversees pipe around here. So that's a gigantic enterprise. And solid waste. Solid waste oversees the county's landfill and transfer station. So when you put that can out in front of your house in the morning, there's a whole enterprise that happens once it gets dumped in the back of the truck. That gets it from in front of your house to a landfill, or the recycling to a material recovery facility, or the organics to a facility where we treat organics. And the solid waste division oversees all of that. And I think this is the thing that I just want to make clear to folks. We started doing this because the budget is probably the single most important policy document that the county adopts, and nobody understands the budget except for a handful of people who spend their days and nights worrying about the county budget. And that's a tremendous obstacle to the community being able to influence it. Particularly if you are someone who works all the time and doesn't have time to spend thinking about this stuff. Particularly if you're someone who has barriers, language barriers, or other barriers to participating. So there's just layers of things that make it harder and harder and harder for community to actually influence the things that make their community better. And this is one little step. I would not lead anyone to believe this is our second time doing this. The first time doing it, we made a little dent in the budget. Next time, we're going to make a bigger dent in the budget. But years from now, when I'm hanging out somewhere, painting landscape, I don't know what I'm going to do once I'm not a bureaucrat anymore. Maybe it'll be a really big bite of that budget. And you'll have a lot more control over what happens in your community. That's the goal. So thank you for doing this. We realized we were running a little late tonight, but appreciate everybody taking the time to look at it.
So just with the forms that you filled out, thank you very much for doing that. If you would please drop them at our welcome table before you leave. And just to say that this was like one tiny piece. There are like 18 divisions in King County, 18 plus, so this is one. So this is just a little piece of the pie that we thought about, and we appreciate how you considered this. Yes?
I was wondering the status of the community center that's by the post office in the library.
Oh, the resources.
Resource center.
The Skyway Resource Center.
I know enough to be dangerous. They're funded for construction. So we, King County, gave them about $2 million. And I know they've been in for permits, because I also oversee the permitting division. I don't know what their timeline is exactly for construction, but and this is really dangerous for a county bureaucrat to guess.
I believe contractors can begin to bid on the project. We're at that stage.
Okay, so if they're ready for bid, which they should be, because most of the improvements are interior, I think I heard Ryan Quicktar, who oversees the Ren Innovation Zone Partnership, say construction this summer is what they're aiming for. Does that sound right to you guys? Yeah, summer. I don't know when they're going to open exactly. Sure.
And that is separate from a community center, just to clarify.
Yep, that's a resource center.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have a timeline on this survey? What's the deadline for having folks take the survey?
30 days.
Okay.
I like that. 30 days.
ASAP. Do it, yes.
You know who it goes to. We can kind of ask for leeway
Yeah.
if we need it.
Sooner is better, but as long as you need. Cynthia.
Quick question, like him, does anybody know where Bryn Mawr Park is? No.
That one's news to me too. Does
So
Parks know where Bryn Mawr Park is?
It's not a park, but I'm thinking that it might be the fenced area up the hill from Bryn Mawr Elementary. That's kind of like swamp marshy area.
Yeah.
Does that sound right?
Trying to get more activity there has always been a challenge, that's why nobody really knows about it, but.
But that, okay, yes, it is that.
What's that park that's right before you get to the pizza place?
Lake Ridge Park
That's
is
Lake Ridge
City
Park.
of Seattle.
That's Lake Ridge Park.
Oh, that's like, okay.
It is called Lake Ridge Park, but it's City of Seattle.
QR
Okay.
code?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
All right, so thank you everyone for coming. I just want to remind everyone that the Halloween takeover is on Saturday the 28th from 1 to 5 across from Skyway Library. Election day voter assistance booth will be open on Tuesday 11/7 from 4 to 8. Community coffee hour is on Saturday 11/18 from 11:30 to 1. And the Skyway Park restoration event is Saturday, December 12th, 9 a.m. to noon. And then if you forget about all these, just go on mywesthill.org/events to check out those events online. Thank you everyone for coming again, and take any food that you like. Have a good night.
Thank you, Brad.
Just a suggestion that came in is great. If you have anyone who lives nearby you or who you think could also take the survey and provide input, please share this QR code or link. It's the exact same thing that you did on paper, but it's in Google format. But we did it. It was 8:32.